We're going to talk about how to format a script. Now, there are many different types of scripts, and scripts all have different formats, kind of depending on what they're used for. What you see in front of you, this is a screenplay. So a screenplay is meant to be like performed in TVs or movies. And, screenplay formatting has very specific rules. This is what's called compact stage play, where if you're with a theater that's going to print their scripts and they want their scripts to be small and save paper, okay, this is compact stage play. That's a different format with some different rules. We're going to do kind of the same thing that we did here with Autoshop. Autoshop is, I just kind of focused on the readability of it, something that'll make it easy for you to format as well. So let's talk about some things you saw here in Autoshop. You can see centered in bold. You see that's the name of the play. And then we have scene 1. Your scenes are also centered, bold, underlined. And so I can see here real easily scene 1, scene 2, okay? Same thing, scene 3. That makes it real easy for me to tell where one scene ends and the next scene begins. We can also see at the beginning of each scene the setting. And the setting describes where this is taking place, where it's taking place and who they are. What I should have done here for Dr. Franklin and Dr. Marvin is capitalize them. Usually, this is pretty standard in almost every script. The first time you see a character appear, they are capitalized. So I have Franklin and Marvin and Shirley. I don't ever capitalize them anywhere else in a description. Like right here, we've got Chuck, Franklin, Marvin. I don't ever capitalize them there. I just capitalize them the first time we see them. So then we have, these are called descriptions, right? Descriptions, they're not dialogue. They're not what anybody is saying. They're just telling you what's going on. Then we have a character line. So this is Franklin's dialogue. This is what Franklin actually says. And again, I put Franklin in all capitalize. Capitalize, some people bold them. I'm bolding them just for readability. Colon, and then you have the line. Right here, this right here, this is an action. This is telling you what people are doing. This is not something that people say. If you want to put actions inside of a line of dialogue, like right here, Chuck points to Shirley, that, again, points to Shirley is not something Chuck says, that's something Chuck does. And so I put it inside parentheses, which is why it's called a parenthetical, and I italicize it, which shows me that it is an action. Right here, Shirley, again, happy and excited. That's not what her line is, that's how she acts her line. So, as we go through, let me kind of show you how that is done. I'm going to start off with a play here. For my font, choose a font that is readable. I chose Comic Sans. You can choose something like Arial. What's really common is just to do Times New Roman. Okay, so in fact, I'm going to do Times New Roman, and I'll make my title size 14. Now, let me share with you some keyboard shortcuts as well. What I can do to center it is come to Align and then Center. But when I put my mouse over it, you can see right there, it gives me the keyboard shortcut. So on a Mac, it's Command-Shift-E. On a Chromebook or a PC, it's going to be Control-Shift-E. So watch this. I'm going to do my keyboard shortcut, Control-Shift-E, and boom, now I'm centered. I can bold it. There's bold, or on a Chromebook or Windows, it'd be Control-B. So let me do Control-B. See, now I'm bold. Control-U to underline. And I'm going to call this the coffee mug, simply because I have a coffee mug sitting on my desk. The coffee mug. Okay. Now when I go down to my next line, this is going to be scene 1. Now when I go down to my next line, I need to left align it, and I can even give it another line space there. Left align it. So that's going to be either up here. I can click on my left align, or I could do Control-Shift-L to left align it. I will do Control-B to unbold, Control-U to underline, and I'll do setting. I will do setting. In a typical coffee shop, let's come up with a character's name. I'm going to make this character's name Daniel. Daniel sits in a comfy chair. Whoa, that's supposed to say blue mug. Blue mug. Okay. Let's come up with a name for his friend. Let's see. His friend. Oh, I'll make it Gabe. His friend Gabe enters. And again, the first time I see them, they are capitalized. Okay, and then next, let's have Gabe have the first line of dialogue. Gabe, how should Gabe be? If we want to say how Gabe is going to be, I'm going to italicize it, which is this button right here, italics, or just Control-I, or Command-I on a Mac. Put it in parentheses. Gabe is going to be angry. Now notice this line is not italicized. You stole my mug. Let me make a parenthetical there. Parenthetical and say, reaches in to grab Daniel's mug. Okay? Now let's go down to the next line. Again, make sure that's not italicized. But capital. Daniel. I did not. And now let's do another parenthetical here for an action, and we'll say they both hold the mug and try to strain to try to take it from each other. Eventually, grip, and the coffee all over Gabe. Eventually, Daniel loses grip and the coffee splatters all over Gabe. Notice there, I didn't capitalize Daniel or Gabe because I've already introduced them. And then on the next line, make sure again that is not italicized. I did my Control-I. And I'll say, there, coffee, satisfied. Okay? So, that's how we do it. If I want to do another scene, I'm going to come back to center it, which again is either here, centered, or I can do my Control-Shift-E is to center it. I'll do, oh, that should be underlined as well. Bold, underlined. Scene 2, enter, Control-Shift-L, Control-B, Control-U, and now I can do setting. Okay, that's basically how it's done. If you want to keep track of your pages, this is a cool thing. If you come to your menu and you do insert page numbers, right here you can just put your page number on there, and now you'll see page 1. And as you scroll through, you'll get more pages. So that's the basics of how to format a script.